Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Bringling. We are once again live on our Facebook channel, Bringle Academy. And you can watch it live on YouTube channel as well, Bringle Talks. Thank you for joining participants here. And we have a very interesting session going to be today on making the virtual world alive. And that's an interesting topic which we have been talking about in the last 21 days as a 21 days business sustainability challenge. Post COVID, everything is going virtual. But is going virtual or using an online platform is going to be enough? Will it sustain? Will it impact the entire economy? Whether we can help, whether there will be more emotional challenges, people sitting at home, students sitting at home, whether organizations, educational institutions are going to struggle or not. And what we have realized that education industry is going to be the most impacted industry today. Everything has to be changed, all the institutions, and that is very, very clear with our finance minister declaration yesterday. What she spoke about, what Srimati Nirmala spoke about, is that how 100 online universities are going to come in, which means that suddenly all the universities have to change into the online infrastructure from a physical infrastructure. And that's where we at Bringle Excellence UK and India, along with Vision Digital India, are launching the life-changing experiences as 10 weeks transformation webinar series with worldwide experts network in the education segment. We are going to talk more on Bringle Blended Learnings and Virtual Labs platform. This was just a glimpse of 21 days business sustainability challenge, which was widely accepted, and we have got more than 5,000 viewers and participants in those 21 days. We have got 80 plus speakers from 30 plus countries, and we could generate 400 plus pulse of wisdom. This entire series has now culminated into a digital book with a certification plan called Business Sustainability Index. So do go there and subscribe and get your business sustainability index from that. Following with this, we are now launching a 21 weeks of business adaptability program, making the virtual world alive, especially digital transformation in the education sector. With this, I would like to request Dr. Hari to just explain about Vision Digital India and what he's trying to do in the Indian ecosystem and in fact internationally. Welcome, Dr.
It's wonderful to connect here, each one of you. And thanks to Bringle for Vision Digital India to join on this great initiative. So we at Vision Digital India believe providing digital skills to all. So that's how we started our journey 4 years back to transform the students into the most advanced technology courses, collaborating with the universities and colleges. So that's how our journey started. And in this journey, what we realized, there is a need of collaboration with leading companies where the certification is more valid. So that's how we collaborated with companies like IBM, Amazon, Microsoft, Google to offer their programs in collaborating with colleges in blended learning model. So in last 4 years journey, we crossed closely around 1 lakh students of transforming various technology skill-oriented training programs, starting from digital marketing to analytics to data science and cloud computing, all the latest advanced courses. So in this journey, recently, we also collaborated with Government of India on the digital initiatives of training youth, the program called NEELIT. So in this NEELIT program, we develop the rural as well as urban students, providing the basic computer skills where they can able to join in a smaller jobs or they can become entrepreneurs themselves. So that's how the collaboration with the government started. This is going to create large number of the employment opportunities, as well as we are going to create large number of entrepreneurs in the system, because the digital is the future. And with India having more than 1.1 billion mobile connections, and the connections are connected to across India, where every Indian is connected today with the technology, with the mobile technology. So with all these, the technology changes, we at India, in the next 2 years, by 2022, we are going to be a $1 trillion digital economy in the country. So these are the couple of initiatives we are taking on the journey of providing digital skills to all. So in this journey, as Anshu rightly told, yesterday, our Honorable Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, announced a new program, new initiative during this COVID-19, because now, if you look at the education system in India, we are one of the largest education system, where we have more than 1,000 plus universities, 45,000 colleges, 690,000 schools, with a closely 380 million student population. So now 90% of the students are unable to attend the regular classes, the day-to-day classes in classroom. So now the technology is the only thing which is connecting the student population and connecting the stakeholders in the education system. So the new initiative is to develop the top 100 universities of India, which are ranked in the top 100 by NIRF ranking system, to offer online programs to all these large student population. So this is a great initiative. In continuation of this initiative, we at Bringil and Vision Digital India thought, why not we start in a small way, bringing a great leaders from industry and academia, and transforming about digital education, about the opportunities, about the industry changes and economic changes during this crisis situation. So that's how we brought this wonderful initiative to give to a large number of people across the globe.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hari. I think with this, I would like to request Sridhar to take it over from here, and would request him to kind of, let us know what are the kind of typical questions which are there into the education segment at this point in time, and what are the challenges they are facing, and then we can see how we can support them at this point in time.
Thank you, Anshu and Dr. Hari, for joining. So as rightly said, the education is evolving. So there were a lot of educationists are actually finding a hardship in terms of they have a myriads of questions as to where do we start, what are the things that is required to go online, how do we sustain this entire thing. So what I will do is I will kind of ask these questions, and request one of you to address this. Let me try and put this question in case one of you would want to hand over the question. Please do so. Okay. So earlier, as you mentioned, there is a government initiative also to request all the universities to start online. So this question is to Dr. Hari. So what is the, could you please elaborate as to government's vision on the education, in the future, how it is going to look at, and what are the kind of expectations they have?
Yeah. So today we at India, we call as the demographic dividend country, where out of 1.35 billion population, we have 60% of our population is the youth. So education is the driving force, especially a country like India. So today, if across the globe, in the global economy of 100 trillion, the major contribution comes from the Indian knowledge workforce, where they're working in more than 200 plus countries. across the world. So education is the primary pillar for the economy. So that is the reason today the entire education system of the world is stopped, is a lockdown. So we have closely 1.8 billion students are unable to attend the regular classes in the world. So the same way in India, we have a large number of students unable to classes. Until now, all our universities and colleges focused mainly on building the infrastructure of their buildings, not on the technology front. So most of the campuses, when they release the ads for admissions in TV, in newspapers, and everywhere in digital media, they used to always show the pictures of the front building, and they used to show the beautiful campus of huge campuses. So they never, thought that this kind of a situation will come where the entire scenario will be education system will be locked down. So today, whatever investments they've done, huge investments on infrastructure, not able to utilize properly because there is no student, no faculty, nothing is happening. Entire campuses are closed. So suddenly when they asked to do online learning, online teaching, so not many people, not even 5% of the education institutions in this country are geared up to deliver classes from the day one. Now, after 2 months of the lockdown, I think only 15 to 20% of our institutions in the country are able to deliver the classes regularly on daily basis. So the remaining most of the people are outsourcing, are they are taking a help of the third party to deliver these kind of sessions in continuation of building their continuity as well as to get the admissions to the cycle. Because admissions is the primary thing for a survival of these universities. So unlike the Western universities like Harvard, Kellogg, Stanford, Oxford, we don't have so much corpus funding available in our universities. So if we don't able to get admissions for the next 1 to 2 years, then the survival itself is difficult. Where these all global universities like Harvard and all, they can sustain for the next 25 to 30 years with the corpus what they have. So looking at these kind of initiatives, yesterday the announcement is mainly focusing the top 100 universities to deliver, to develop online content, to continue the delivery model without disturbing the large number of Indian students. So already the work is started. The government is initiated some of the new things like what happening is today, 60% of the student population is in rural side. They're unable to access even the internet. So the idea is the government is collaborating with the DTH service providers, the radio, the Akashvani and other FM radios to deliver the classes even without internet. So they created along with IIT and IIMs a model called Swayam Prabha, where they have a separate channel where 24/7 the continuity of lectures keep happening. So this model they want to develop using the private, the Airtel and Tata Sky, the Sun Next, these kind of models where they can able to reach large number of the people, because this COVID continuity will be there, the effect will be there for the next at least for a year before the vaccine comes into the market. And definitely this vaccine coming into market will take at least 8 to 9 months time. So now, in fact, I was reading today newspaper, some of the newspapers are asking the parents of the primary education students. So the parents are ready to even sacrifice 1 year, but they don't want to send their kids. So that is a kind of a situation and scale which is created in the last 2 months using the net, that is the internet and social media, about the scare about the corona. So the situation is education especially is we are in a very difficult situation So if we don't develop this kind of a online teaching methodology and blended learning model, which what we are focusing with the bringing these initiatives, then the survival of Indian education system will be a challenge. So that is what my opinion on this new initiative.
Great. Thanks, Hari. I was mentioning in terms of the blended learning, I think, question to Anshav is that, obviously it is not near the connectivity. I think there is a lot more to be able to go online, and Ringle as such has been an established platform which has been doing a lot of work here. So what are your initial thoughts in terms of this entire scenario and the future of the education, Anshav?
Sridhar, a fantastic question. Because see, this blended learning model is actually we have been working on this concept for last more than 3 years now. It's actually December 2017 when we had filed patent on this kind of a platform and the methodology of this entire end-to-end thing. People have been very focused on the offline learning model, and suddenly post COVID, people have thought that getting into a video conferencing is a digital learning mode. It is a blended learning model which they have adopted, but it is just the tip of the iceberg. I am sure each of us have realized it. We all have our children taking their classes from home. uh, what we have realized that the engagement between the teacher and student is completely gone. There is no emotional connect between the student and the teacher. You do not know what students are doing sitting at home with their mobiles. Either they are really concentrating or not. The faculties are struggling with that because they themselves have to maneuver so many things, and now have to literally see each screen by screen and look at it what their children are doing, and it is becoming a very difficult approach. So what we see is that just arranging a virtual call, video conferencing call, either using Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or whatever it is just the tip of the iceberg of the problems which they are going to get in. When in fact, I just share one important point. Just for setting up a video conferencing call, it requires 9 to 10 steps. Now these 9 to 10 steps are all being done manually, one by one, to thousands of students individually on that. So your magnitude of manual work increases to multifold. When we developed so we were using the online training modules way back in 2017, and we realized that these number of steps which are increases by administrative efforts and reduces the chances of scalability. While we want to go to the virtual world and want to do the maximum of the trainings and reach out to the globe, but there are so many administrative efforts along with their certification, the e-learning courses. There are different platforms available on that, and there is no one platform where you can have an end-to-end courses management. You can have your discussions, parent teacher discussion, assessment platform, grading platforms, live classes. All of that is not there, and that's where we built up bringleacademy.com as a blended learning platform. This was launched 2 years ago on 20th of May 2018, and I'm actually very happy to launch this series on completion of 2 years of this launch of this platform on 20th May 2020 now. So we'll be completing 2 years as well on this platform. But the point what I'm trying to say is that blended learning is not just that. And in fact, blended learning has 3 different levels into it. So the first level is the automations from your admissions till your placements part of it, or maybe other education into various aspects into it. It has to be completely automated, because now it has to be, even in virtual environment, you will have to have a one-on-one connect while you are doing it in a thousands of people together or students together. The second aspect which will become more difficult is that how will you connect with various different people, mentors, experts, or which are spread across the different places in their homes. And the third level comes in into the blended learning, how you will make it more engaging. It has to feel that each child, each student is actually connected with the teacher or the faculty one-on-one, while the discussion or the details are actually happening one to many. So there are various concepts of artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. All of those concepts will start coming in more stronger now. People will also start having online examinations, which brings up to another concept of how do you protect cheating and other aspects during an online examinations, which is basically in the blended learning model, it is known as proctored exams. And that those kind of platforms also we at Bringle have built in over a period of 3 years now. And we have the concepts of virtual labs, which you can make it more engaging. So if you want to teach about gravity to a child, you can actually show a solar system being running and how the moon and sunset is happening within that virtual lab online mode, and which is more engaging. Student can themselves try it out, which is not possible in a school environment also. So while this is going to bring up a lot of opportunities, the utilization of the right blended learning models have to be there. And that is what it is all about, a process setting into that.
Brilliant. So very clearly, I think the blended learning is not merely the Zoom call or other video call. There is a lot to it. That is what I gather. And so at this juncture, again, I'll take a follow-up question that you could say that just I know that blended learning. Again, there are a lot of question follow-up. But before that, I want to see what is your view. Do you see that this entire situation happening? Is it looks like a blessing in disguise? Or boon or bane? What is your thoughts? Because so far we did not have technology adoption, though it gives a lot of benefits. Now that we have to evolve, no chance. So we are going to be getting a lot of benefits. But I just want to hear from you as to what do you think the whole scenario of moving online is going to help us.
Okay, so Sridhar, I am of a firm believer that there is nothing called bad day. I always say this, either it is a good day or a character building day. So the COVID scenario is actually a character building time right now for us. So I would rather say that it's a blessings in disguise, and which is always I believe in, because either somebody will have to transform. It's a time of evolution. It's a time of change. And if you talk about Darwin's theory, change is the only constant thing in the world. And if we have to survive in this scenario, you have to learn from it, build up, and use the current things which are available. Now, the situation is it's like a black swan event right now, which has suddenly come in onto us as a world war or whatever you can think about it. And every complete world is fighting against it. We are all together trying to do that. While there have been technologies available, there are a lot of small platforms, big and small platforms mushrooming up. What is more important is that people, especially the universities, colleges, educational institutions, trainers, mentors, individual training institutes, they focus on a long-term sustainability. Even today, when I talk to them, the biggest challenge is that they're thinking, okay, this COVID will go in 2-3 months. I think we have to survive only till then. But I think our finance minister, Nirmala ji, has kind of confirmed that it is not going to go away just like that. I mean, it's not just because of the COVID, but the kind of changes they are making in the education system. See, education is the base of any country, any community for that. Unless you have good learning available in the deeper parts of the country, you will not be able to grow your GDPs. And if you are not able to reach out to the areas like you were mentioning about, Dr. Hari was mentioning about that, government is trying to use radio channels, this telephone networks to reach out to the tribal and even rural areas. Now there are technologies available in blended learning where you can actually create a small server and put in the entire content over there, and entire village can become a computer IT city kind of thing. You don't need a kind of only radio channels. And even with the radio channels, what maximum you can give it to them? You can only give it to them some hearing e-learning solutions. Probably they can hear. They may not be able to watch that much, because if the internet is not there, they cannot watch it. What will that impact to a learner? Now there are different kind of learning habits. So the point what I'm saying is this, it is an evolution which it has to happen. So yes, blended learning has all these components available. We at Bringle have been developing these segments for many development of say NGOs, organizations as well, who have their base in 650, 700 plus centers in all the 25 states of the country, including urban, rural, and even tribal zones as well. We have worked with them so that the engaging content can be there. The language problem would be another challenge which would be coming in. How will you generate so much content suddenly to be disseminated to these wider audience? How will you ensure that wherever, whichever learning you are imparting, it is getting well received? How will you check the capability of the individual, how they are receiving that information? These are all the challenges which are going to come. Just because Zoom conference or video conferencing solution will come, or maybe some content being made it live on radio channels or TV channels, it is not going to save, it is not going to work in a longer lifespan. If we have to really upskill and reskill our population, we have to have more engaging solution, more data based approach, bring them to a real reality, understand their core skill sets, manage and track their skill scores and how they are learning onto that, and then connect them to the right jobs or the other job opportunities for them. And entrepreneurship development is going to be taking up a very, very big domain, and everybody has to think like an entrepreneur today. Even in large organizations are talking about think like an entrepreneur. It was there as a buzzword earlier as well, but now it will become more and more important. We are in fact talking about gig economy and all, wherein you will be actually tracked per minute, per second while sitting at home, which was not possible even sitting in offices till now. They were not even focusing on that. So that's the change it will happen. And yes, it will start. It has started very well with a small, video conferences and these kind of solutions. This is very much required. The reachability is required, but it has to emerge to the next third level of blended learning.
That's great, Anshu. Naturally, it appears that there is a lot more to it than mere video conferencing, and I think it's important for the educators to equip themselves to know what are all the nuances to be online to make it more effective and deliver the content, to the desired level. Fair enough, and I'm glad that you're looking at the positive. And Dr. Hari, I think you're also. I know you are very positive in any spheres, so I want to hear from you as well. How do you see this entire scenario spanning out? I think we perhaps have one last question that we can take, for the today. There are questions are hand over to Hari to hear from you. Sorry?
Yes. Yeah, the next few months, I think we have to do a lot of sacrifice because the similar thing will continue. The numbers will increase. The effect will be more. So I think if you look at in India, a couple of states which are doing extremely well, including the Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. These all out of these, I think I was just listening to our Karnataka Chief Minister announcements. So from tomorrow, I think most of the things are open in Karnataka. Except the film theaters and malls. So I think 80% will come normalcy because the contribution of the state, the Karnataka alone, to the Indian GDP is closely around 12 to 13%. So because the main IT hub is here, so you have a major companies, the global companies are based in Karnataka. So I think slowly, one by one, state will start functioning, and already people become adapted towards, adjusting the things. So today, most of the people are happy working from home. So they become kind of a seasonal, how to manage the work. So, but when it comes to the education, nothing can replace, kind of the face-to-face learning, because that is what we learn from ages and decades and generations. So now suddenly, bringing online uh, will take little time to get adjusted by students as well as the faculty also. So now the more thing what are happening is people are little scared what will be the future, what will happen and all. So this is kind of a scenario like, once in 100 years we keep reading. These all kind of things keep happening. So if you see the history of last 1,000 years, every 100 years we had this kind of scenarios and situations. So I think this will go in a little time. People get adjusted, and especially the education thing. Now people realized what is the value of the technology, and what is the things they have to do, how they have to develop their stakeholders in continuation of their business. So now everyone is geared up. So now once we are back to normal, then everyone will concentrate on suddenly investing on technology, developing people on technology. So these all things will happen. That is also for the benefit. I think we will be normal. So this initiative is, to bring that kind of experts from across the world to tell, how the things are going to change and how we are going to become normal. So that is the idea of all this, the initiative of this webinar series of webinars, where from each industry we will get leaders, and from the global academic institutions we'll get the people. And also it is a kind of a motivation to the educational leaders to connect all these people. And also same time we are bringing some good initiatives of awarding, like now if you open any kind of a social media, you see some webinar, some talk happening. So we want to make it something differentiated from that, of bringing the global element into that, as well as also recognizing people for getting a certification. So it is going to be the first in the world, the blended learning convocation, which we are going to do on August 15 to 2020 for the people who complete successfully this program, and they get a postgraduate diploma from a global institutes. So this is going to be a great incentive to all the people. And I think definitely people can utilize this opportunity and register, come here and experience, learn and share their knowledge. And it's going to be a great experience for each one of the people who joins here.
Sure. So, Ansha, would you be able to throw some more light and elaborate on what these program that we both Bringle and Vision Digital India is trying to do?
Yeah, sure, Sridhar. See, I think most of it, Dr. Hari has kind of clarified it. So it's going to be the 10 weeks digital transformation webinars. These are actually not going to be a live. There'll be like live classes, but those will not be going live this time. We'll be doing a lot of promotion. We'll be sharing the insights as pearls of wisdom every day, every week for our viewers, and they can kind of get into joining that. So there is a workshop link which they can go to bringleacademy.com/workshop/148. Sign up there, enroll there, because these are very, very limited seats right now. Uh, all these 10 webinars, there will be 10 different experts who will be talking very specifically on a topic, on these 10 different topics. The topics could be anywhere from how to get better virtual internships or a jobs or a project, It could be how can you better have a knowledge management framework in the ecosystem today. Blended learning models, virtual labs, how those are going to change the ecosystem. What is the impact of emotional intelligence, design thinking in the entire education system? How the industries, how the other different industries will get impacted because of this entire blended learning ecosystem which is coming in. How we can use the digital transformation in the various different industries, be it various different transport, retail, hospitality, hospitals, medical, your retail, all those, even spiritual, religious, everything will change now. Every industry has to have some changes. So it is going to be a international forum wherein experts from various international universities, from the academia sector, they will be coming in. Apart from that, there will be people will be coming in from the corporates or from the startup ecosystem or from the business ecosystem, who will come together and actually talk more about different aspects into this, how the entire learning industry can change, how it will impact the academic institutions, how those academic institutions can help having better and better research and development for their individuals, for the students, how they can get the better internships, better learning capabilities, and become a better skilled resource. And in fact, there is a lot of reskilling which will be required within the corporates who are already having some employees. They will have to be reskilled. So all of that will be taken care from the digital transformation perspective, or basically the acceptance of the digital transformation. So this will be done in the next 10 weeks. And at the end of it, every day, whoever will complete that session, there will be a certificate. Whoever will complete the entire 10-week series, they will get a diploma in digital transformation signed off by all these experts as their diploma part of it. And why we are doing it on 15th August 2020 is it's basically our independence, India's Independence Day, and we want to make our Atmanirbhar Bharat right now, and no other day can be it than on a Freedom's Day. So that's another freedom we want to bring in the virtual world, and that is why the topic is making the virtual world alive. You should not feel that you are there in the virtual world and sitting very different from each other. You should still feel connected. You should touch people. And I think in our earlier series of 21 days business sustainability challenge, there is a transformation happening at this point where you can actually have all 5 senses in the virtual world. You can taste, touch, feel, hear and see. So we are only seeing hear and see part right now. The transformation will come when you can touch, when you can taste, and when you can even, I don't know, I'm just missing it. So feel it. Feel, you can actually have the entire 5 senses getting activated, so that you can actually feel that person. If you are having a training program, while you might be sitting thousands of miles away in different places, but you are actually feeling that you're sitting in an auditorium and a professor is giving you a lecture over there. And along with virtual labs, you can actually conduct those experiments sitting at your own places, and we can monitor each and every student much better way. What are their what are their skill sets, whether they're developing, whether they're learning or not, and assess them and bring that into a real-time data analytics, which can become an instant information for the trainer or the instructor to take the required action accordingly. So that's the change which it has to come in the education sector. It has just begun. It's just the tip of the iceberg, as I say. So I think this entire 10 weeks are going to be very, very focused on digital transformation. And that's what the benefit is to the people which they will be getting into that. At the end of it, the 15th August, there will be all these participants, all these students would be aligned a local university or an institute nearby to their places. They can go there. We will have the world's first blended convocation day. It will be the cross-border blended convocation day, so that you can feel the real version of blended learning in another level. So that's what it is all about.
That's brilliant, making the virtual world alive. I think very aptly said, freedom, digital freedom on August 15. Very well summed up,
Absolutely.
Ansha. So we subsequent, I think we run out of time. So what we will do is we will conclude this particular session and then continue for the next session. So the message is that, early adopters are the ones who survive. So here is the real golden opportunity that we have to equip ourselves and take it forward. Great initiative by Bringle and Vision Digital India. And I leave it up for your parting comments, Ansha.
Thank you so much, Sridhar. I think this is a wonderful thing. So I will just want to request everybody to come on live on Facebook. So we'll be doing it every day at 6 o'clock. 20th May 2020, which is also the second anniversary for our bringleacademy.com, a virtual skill development center platform. That's so please join in there for the launch day. There are many more chief panelists who are coming in on that. That will be there at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow also we'll be coming on live again and answering few more questions on the blended learning platform and what we are going to do in this series. There'll be another sessions on Thursday and Friday as well before we actually start the sessions on 30th of May. So till 20th of May, this entire session, this entire series will be free of cost. Anybody can join in at bringleacademy.com/course/virtual reality. On 20th of May, we'll be doing another launch or an announcement how it is going to shape up for the rest of the times. But till then, it is completely free. So please take the benefit of this global community and keep joining it as soon as possible. Dr. Hari, do you want to have some parting comments out here?
So thanks, Anshu and the team. I think this is just initiative of digital transformation. It is just a beginning. And I think we will try to bring with all your support and cooperation, many things we call these digital transformation with the digital co-creation. So together we can able to bring the changes and bring a lot of transformation, and looking forward meeting all you people in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and look forward to see all of you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Till then, keep bringing, keep growing.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank you, Sridhar, and thank you, Sonam.
Taking it forward, Ansha, I would like to help our viewers to understand what is this blended learning. I think there were a lot of things that we had shared last time. If you could share how this blended learning is evolving and how it's even more relevant in today's scenario and brings more benefits than the online campus, that would be great for us.
Yes, Sridhar, I've been thanks for asking that question. See, blended learning is actually a very new buzzword. Even today, people have not understood the real meaning of a blended learning. Everybody is just talking about shifting the world of offline learning to an online learning, and for them, that's the end of it. But the challenges are going to come much more even after coming to online learning. And few of the concepts which I'll tell you, the recent discussions which are happening in multiple school and colleges forums or in groups, is that why do we pay that much amount of fees which we were paying earlier when we don't have the infrastructure available? Every parent would pay because of the infrastructure of the school, the college, the university. Now you cannot go to school or college. What will you do? How will they justify the quality of education? How will they ensure the real engagement with the student, the teacher development? The faculty is now basically confused how to engage their different students. They are sitting in 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 different locations now. It is very difficult to control and understand. Second, they cannot control or confine them in a particular space. And that's where the blended learning concept comes in, wherein even in a virtual environment, how you can make it look like a real environment. You can have a better control, you have a better technical infrastructure, and it goes in right from just a video conferencing solution, which has to be more integrated, more secured, and it has to be end to end, which has to be more automated so that it reduces the administrative efforts of that. The second aspect which comes in is that how do you bring the assessments, the grading part, the virtual labs, how you can bring it into the environment, so that if you want to teach a child about a concept on an atom, how will that be explained? You want to teach a child about gravity, how does the solar system works? Till now, even in physical environment, we were having only the animated videos and probably some bit of a chalk or a blackboard or a marker and a whiteboard. But in today's scenario, when the digital transformation is happening, the blended learning brings another opportunity where you can actually have your chemistry labs within your classroom itself without the actual presence of any chemical. So there is no health hazard, there is no chemical hazard which is involved into that. You can integrate those things within a platform like bringleacademy.com, which is a complete blended learning platform, and anybody from anywhere can get engaged, can see what's happening, be it a Python you want to do, be it C++ teaching you want to do. You can actually write your code in an online environment, have a gamification platform by which you compete with the people across the globe sitting online, and there is a result which is coming in as a gaming board out there. And it's one simple example of a gamification is, now we all had been playing Ludo, right? Everybody has played Ludo in their lifespan, and in childhood, and even today we play. There is an online Ludo right now. I can now play Ludo with my friends and families all across the globe. Similarly, those concepts have to come in learning. And this is what we had been working for the last 3 years after we filed the patent on in this entire end-to-end platform of blended learning. And what we have realized is we have worked with multiple colleges, multiple schools, multiple universities to get them the content of virtual labs, blended learning, gamification on engineering colleges, medical colleges, your normal graduate colleges, schools, how they can enhance the concept of blended learning in their environment. So till now it was only limited to a physical environment, so it was easier to control. Now they will need a platform which will ultimately be able to engage with the students better. Now, even after you set up all these things at a level, there is a third level of blended learning which will come in, wherein you need to make it really real. How will you make it real? You have to use the concepts of hologram, virtual reality, teleportation. Now, these are the concepts wherein you can actually feel a trainer or a faculty standing with you and teaching you one-on-one, while you are feeling it in auditorium, and while everybody is sitting at different places, and a faculty can actually monitor each and every student at a same period of time, point in time. Apart from that, you can have an online examination with a protection of cheating. So the students cannot cheat, they cannot go to multiple screens. Even if their eyes move, the system will recognize as a face recognition software by which they will actually stop the examination of the student. The student has no choice but to look constantly on the screen, and on the screen there is nothing which can be opened except for the online exam. That's called proctored exams. So the concept of blended learning will move to the third level of realization, and that is where the concept of making the virtual world alive. And that's going to be the total digital transformation which is required. Currently, we have adopted only 10% of the entire blended learning model. We have just moved from an online to a video conferencing solution, nothing else. So that's the evolution which it has to happen.
Brilliant, Anshav. Actually, it really reinforces that blended learning seems to be the future, not only because of this event, but it is actually a blend of best of both worlds. if you may. That's what I see that, right? So it is giving the efficiency, speed, accuracy of the technology, and immersive experience of in-class room is what is coming out very clearly. I think the early adopters, and there's a lot to learn also. So here, and definitely this is a great platform, I think, for everybody to, get into this particular blended learning. Thanks, Anshav, for that. Taking it further,
Sridhar, just want to add one thing out here.
Sure.
See, blended learning is one segment. So it's what we have. You can do it in a learning platform. There are other applications and requirements, like you can do it in meetups, events, how you can make that. So it's a blended model as a concept which is emerging. Learning is one segment. So there are 10 industries which will have to drastically change themselves. And this blended concept, Bringle blended platform concept, can be applied and deployed in any of those industries. So just wanted to add that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for that. So Dr. Hari, for you, I think I've seen you that you've been part of various forums, various initiatives, think tanks, talking about this entire scenario and helping educationalists and other institutions how to take it forward from here. Perhaps the question is for you in terms of, now that this scenario has happened, you're obviously a very technology proponent, okay, and have done a lot of work. So I want to know that, for our viewers, that technology, if there is no proper adoption, do you think the, educational institutions does have a lot of challenge, or early adopters do have more possibilities that were not available earlier? How do you see that, or what are your recommendation for these institutions in terms of going forward, in terms of adopting the technology, Hari?
Yes, yeah, wonderful question, Sridhar. Yeah, to talk about technology today, the economy is surviving only because of the technology. Today, we are able to connect. In the last 2 months, the lockdown, still people are able to do a little bit of work from home and able to communicate. And some of the business activities are continuously happening. It is only because of the technology advancement what we have. So when you talk about the technology and the future, so definitely I think educational institutions earlier, they were not very much focused and investing on technology because they still believed the regular teaching methodology is the best one. But if you see globally today, courses like online courses, which are offered by the global leaders like Coursera, Khan Academy, edX. So these all people are reaching millions of people. So where a college, in the entire history of the university or college, in a year, maximum they can take 30 to 40,000 students. If a small college, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 students. But these courses like the online courses, there is no timeline for them. There is no admission cycle. So they can start anytime, they can end anytime. They can take all around 365 days admissions, and they can start the batch anytime, they can close the batch. So these all advantages are there. So through these, the utilization of resources are very high because the same faculty can teach millions of people. Unlike in a classroom where one regular faculty can teach only 60 people. So there are a lot of advantages in this online technology education. And especially when you talk about the blended education, it is the best solution because, again, we done a lot of surveys using our students about online. So still in India, not many students were happy with complete online. So the best solution is we at Vision Digital India adopted a year back a blended learning model. That's how we are able to survive because some classes where possible we will use the faculty and they visit and they install the software and they will interact with the team of the people, student and faculty. then they have a confidence on us that we can able to deliver the things. Then the continuity using online becomes very easy. So the interaction with the student, the interaction with the faculty also will become very easy in blended learning model. So talking about technology today, where 70% of industries got affected because of the COVID-19 situation, except the technology companies. So I was just following a couple of companies' performance, their annual growth and all. So today we are talking about the individual people becoming the first $1 trillion net worth people, even in this crisis situation. So we are talking about some of the Indian companies are able to get great investments during this COVID-19 situation. So the technology is definitely an enabler for economy, so that every government, every country recognized that, and moving towards large investments towards technology, because these kind of uncertainties may happen in future also. So this is not an end of COVID-19 only. So we have to gear up to face these kind of challenges and equip ourselves to work from any place, any area. So that's how some of the companies like Twitter and all, they already announced, even after these all incidents, large number of their people will work from home. So this is a great move, actually, optimum utilization of resources. You just imagine a city like a Bangalore, where we have a more than 12 million population. So to reach the office itself will take a minimum average of 75 minutes to 120 minutes to people who are working in technological companies. So now these all, so the timing, that almost 240 minutes of their time, only traveling time is saved, and a lot of traffic, a lot of other things can be minimized using the technology. So only you require a little bit of investment to adopt these, not a huge investments, and a lot of advantages are seen. I think the world is moving towards digital. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Hari. I think love it or hate it, technology is the way to go, is the inference. So sooner or later, either adopt or perish is the message. So good in a way that we are taking it forward. So I know that, for this, as you said, the staggered way of adopting technology. And one of our programs that you and Anshav are running is also about how do you enable people who are completely new to the technology or need help to adopt to that. So we will come to that, Anshav, in terms of what are how we are going to help these, technology adoption way, okay, in this program.
Sure.
But a specific, again, a little bit more deeper, if we may go. Okay, you mentioned that entire enterprise-wide, Anshav, that from the admissions to alumni, the entire flow. If you look at an education institution, there is a lot of touch points in terms of the technology and how the value it can get it, and especially proctoring, aspects like proctoring and immersive experience you mentioned. But let me take one specific thing. Let us say the entire communication with the stakeholders, be it the students, be it the faculty, be it the administrative staff. Okay, how do you connect it? If you see how the role of AI or AR, if you can give you a scenario and help us, the moving parts in the entire thing for the benefit of our viewers.
Yeah, very interesting question, Sridhar. See, I'll just take a little step back before even going to an alumni level. You are a student. We are all have been a student and alumni of certain colleges. But how, on what basis do you decide that which college do you go through? On what basis, whether you are learning, whatever you are learning during the college or the school days, is it enough for your career or not? And once you go into the corporate world, are we really equipped enough or skilled enough to be sustaining for the upcoming future? We always know that future is uncertain. And we, from our education system point of view, we are still really running with some hundreds of years ago education system, which has been running in country, not only, especially in India. It's been very age old right now. So the point what I'm trying to say is that from the first point, from the technology point of view, the core thing which has to get focused into who is me, what are my core skill sets, what is that I should be going forward and doing forward in the future career, what is the market potential, what are my learning capabilities, what are my likings. Do we want to go into a field of engineering or doctor? We always used to hear that either if you are a good student or a good son or a daughter, either you have to be engineer or a doctor or a CA or a company secretary or a chartered accountant. Now that is not true today. There are 500 plus courses or different streams which are available. Have we heard about a engineering called desert engineering? There is a specific engineering which works only on marine engineering. There is a drilling engineer, and they're very unique engineering practices which they do. There are ocean engineers, ocean marine experts who knows about the marine animals. So the point what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of streams which will be coming into the future, and they are already evolving. Where AI can help, and that is where when we had filed our patent in 2017, is basically to focus about how is my core skill set area, what are my learning behavior. Do I learn it by seeing the things virtually, visually? Do I like to learn the things by hearing, or do I want to do the things by doing it? So there are different visual, hearing, and these kind of learning behaviors you have. Then you have 6 different kind of personality traits. There are different kind of intelligences, 8 type of human intelligences are available. How do we know all of that? And all those aspects we are trying to understand by the time we are actually completely trained or completely educated, rather I would say. It's not skilled, it's not trained, it's education. A human brain stops developing at the age of 8 years. So a child, whoever has learned anything or picked up those capabilities, can be picked only up till the age of 8 years. And we don't even look at the child and ask the child, what do you want to do before they turn 18 or 20. The child has very immense capabilities to develop. So we have to catch them young. So that is the first aspect which we need to understand over there. The second aspect which we need to figure out is that what are their core skill sets, and these skill sets can be identified as soon as the child is born. So we have a patented technology wherein we can actually find out the child's inborn talent immediately at the time of birth. I mean, while we don't use that because it's not required. So at least once your child reaches to reaches to an age of 5 or 6, when they actually start going to the school, the first school, the preschool, you should actually know what are their core skill sets. Take them into a database. Right now, these reports are available in a very, individual level they're sitting in. They have to come into a bank, which we call it as a skills bank, and which is basically our, copyrighted content and the patent, wherein you actually have to use AI to identify and see which job roles are perfect for that particular individual or that child. Now, to make them ready for that, there are other aspects interested into it. What is the market potential of that particular stream or that job role? What is that capability of the child currently available? Currently, how much they are capable? Another thing which we have to see whether they are interested enough to do that or not. They might not be having that interest in that particular thing because they are interested in something else. So you have to find some career opportunity for them, and this entire thing can be linked to the job roles and the related things, while you can monitor their skill scores from a starting level of 6 years old till the end of your knowledge or your career, till the end of your life. And this database, when you have 5,000 points, 10,000 points of a single individual talking about understanding about their skill sets, mindset, their maybe, in Indian scenario, we always believe in astrology. There are concepts like numerology. There are concepts like, other aspects of the thing, which are, NLP and things like that, where you can actually have all those data points gathered for an individual. Once you have those data points captured, you can actually map it using AI and make sure that every person is getting to the right place, with their right skill set. So that is why we always say right person with right skills at the right place. Once that happens, and that is where the skill sets or AI can really help it over there. And while delivering the blended learning, or when delivering the learning capabilities, that's where you can reach to the third level of virtual reality, wherein you can actually feel the real virtual world in a real environment. And that's how the AI, AR, VR, your machine learning can help in the education industry.
Great. So thanks, Anshav. I'll just deviate a little bit to see that, from in the initial conversation that you made to Dr. Hari, that how do you see that, both for the education institution, the admission process, how is that experience in terms of their college visibility? Okay, how will the technology help them, improve their visibility, and vice versa for the students to be able to make a right choice to these institutions, and how does this technology help, and in what way, Dr. Hari?
Yeah. Okay. If you look at the current marketing promotions of various universities and colleges, in fact, I was surprised to read Today Times of India front page. So the front page speaks about the Ivy League universities like Oxford, like Imperial, the Stanford, then London Business School. So what they are saying is, this year, they also consider applications without GMAT. So this is the first time I'm hearing in my academic journey. Even we missed during our graduation day, we wanted to do some post-graduation in these particular universities. So we left because we cannot able to crack these kind of entrances. So today the student got opportunity where they can enroll in any university in this world without any proper entrance, only with whatever qualifications they have. So that is a kind of situation. Even the scenario is still worst in India, because we have a large number of universities and institutions compare than the number of students wanting to join. There is an imbalance between demand and supply here, definitely. And during this COVID situation, especially, because this is actually time of many top universities and colleges, they close 80% of their admissions. And particularly management education, June 2nd week is the time where they start all the 80% of the colleges, their MBA program and PGDM programs. So now not even one institute in the country are ready to start even at July. So because what when I was inquiring with a couple of my friends who are the directors and chairmen of the institution, they clearly say now there is no option because there is no movement of the people because of the lockdown. So for example, you take major metro cities, the student intake, what happened is people from other side. So now that movement is not there, and students are definitely not going to take a decision looking at Facebook ad or Instagram ad for admissions. Definitely they want to see the campus, they want to meet the people, interact, then they take an admission decision, because it's a huge investment and it's a life-turning game for them. So now what is happening is even the institutions are unable to do advertising, the traditional advertising, what they were earlier doing, giving ads in the newspapers. Today, the newspaper size itself is reduced. So the newspaper become 1/3 than the regular newspaper of earlier. So, and the reach of newspaper itself is restrained to only 25% of the people. 75% of the people still they are not reading the newspaper, and reach also not happening. So in this kind of a scenario, how the education institution should market, because continuity definitely will be there today. The other advantage of promoting your institute using the digital media is most of the people, the stakeholder like parent and student is available at home and he's free. So how you communicate, how you engage these people is the greatest challenge. I think not many people are able to catch this situation. Not many institutions are able to build this gap, create this kind of a webinars, create a content, proper communication, regular follow-up. So these all things are not happening from so many big universities. The top universities itself is failed to do this. And definitely this time the admissions will reduce. I think most of people are predicting that the capacity will reach only 50% to most of the institutions. And we will be delayed at least 2 to 3 months, academic cycle. And this is also very crucial time for all the postgraduate and graduate students for a placement. And that also getting affected because most of the institutions, only 25 to 30% of students are placed in companies. So 75% of the people are waiting for a placement. And this kind of a scenario, again, placing the student is a great challenge for any institutions. So every institute, I think they have to focus on these two things. One is a placement, second is admission, in continuous with their learning model and continuous delivery, engaging even the existing students. They cannot just leave the existing students because they paid already money and they're having a lot of hopes on these institutions and they join. So you need to have some continuity, some activities, some communication, engaging them, and the same time to acquire a new student and to impress them, you need to have a lot of digital strategies to promote the brand of the institutions. So I think only 4 to 5% of the institutions, they're geared up and they started promotions. Still 95% of the people, they're yet to catch this and start working towards building this gap. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Hari. So, Anshad, keeping this in mind that, going forward, it is very imperative that all these institutions need to equip themselves and, as you said, blended learning and entire, technology behind it. Okay. Would you suggest, could you elaborate on what is the offering that you have? I think what is the course, the 21-week certification program? If you can elaborate and tell how is this helpful for the individuals who are looking to equip themselves with this knowledge, and what are the key takeaways from that particular program? It would be good.
Yeah. So now, yes, sir.
Yeah, Anshad.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question is for me, right, Sridhar?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So Sridhar, see, I think this, I mentioned this yesterday as well, and I always believe that it is actually a character building time for us. It's while it is a event which has happened, post COVID, and considering the blessings in disguise, while at one side, like Dr. Hari has mentioned, how the universities are struggling with their admissions today. So that's a current problem. But if you see it in a long-term perspective, this opportunity has actually opened doors for them because now they can have students from all across the globe. Till now, they were very focused on certain examinations, certain concepts, within a restricted environment, within a location and things like that. If they are able to adopt the blended learning model, they can actually have a wider audience. So probably they may have 500 students in their university campus, but they may have 5,000 students working on their online university campus. And that merger of that two is going to become a blended learning model. So it's a wide range of benefits. The way the government is also taking initiative, like Indian government, as Dr. Hari was mentioning yesterday, how they have started reaching out to the rural and tribal areas as well through telecom companies, through radio channels and things. This will further increase the reach, and actually the 70% of Indian population which are actually not able to get the higher education or a proper education, they also will become the customers of these universities. And there is a huge talent sitting out there. So first of all, we have to see it as an opportunity and adapt to the scenario. And that is where I was talking about the 21 weeks which you are talking about. It's going to take some time. And if you are able to adapt that in 21 weeks, and that is where this concept of 21 weeks of business adaptability. So this is the time whoever has sustained in the last, I would say 21 days, because, but yes, in the last, almost 2 months now, 2 or 3 months, will have a next challenge coming in with them. How will they adapt to the new situations? They will have to actually start fresh. Today only SoftBank has released an article saying that 15 of their unicorns are going bankrupt, which means that not only education industry, everybody is struggling badly. Now think about, in this situation, the next 21 weeks are going to be very, very, very critical, whether you are able to adapt to these current situations or not. Whoever will be able to pass through these 21 weeks will be able to survive for the next 21 quarters or 21, further on that. And that's going to be the important point. Here in this scenario, when it comes to alumni, like you were mentioning about alumni's in the last question, alumni network can be reached out much better through a blended learning platform like ours. We can organize them through, we can organize alumni connects. We have been working with few government institutions, few, autonomous universities already on bringing their alumni connect together. How we can leverage their learnings and expertise wherever they are in across the globe, can bring in jobs, internships, projects, mentorship for the students who are studying in their own colleges today. Schools, they can actually connect to the people. I have never heard people like Shiv Khera coming into a school in Bombay, but I have seen that recently happening. It has happened today. And how it has happened? Of course, it has happened virtually. Dr. Hari keeps meeting a lot of experts out of there. But how many people have that opportunity to interact with him? People like, great leaders like our Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Ratan Tata. These are legends. I had that opportunity to listen to all these, Mr. Ratan Tata, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Deepak Parekh, to hear them at one event in Mumbai. But think about that same event is getting connected to the entire globe with not just the edited content, but with the real interaction. We have done that exercise with TiE Bangalore. We have, wherein 500 participants are available at a physical location. 50 or 100 participants are there in the virtual platform, which is our platform. And they are talking to each other in a two-way conferencing solution, two-way communication mode. They're asking questions. Virtual participants are asking questions to the speakers. Speakers are answering them. Physical participants are asking, people who are sitting offline, they're asking questions. It is being shared by everybody. And this entire concept, this entire event is getting live on the both YouTube and Facebook channels of their TiE Bangalore and our Bringle Academy's channel, Bringle Talks as well. Where is this possible, this kind of an engagement? This is one form of Bringle blended platform or Bringle blended learning's option. This could be used as an event or a meetup or a learning. That is where the connect will improve. You can actually now reach out to masses. Whatever we could not do it in 1 year, now you can do it in 3 months and probably in 3 hours. the impact of education, the connect on the learning part of it, the imparting of the education can be done much better, which was not possible earlier. So frankly speaking, it's a very good opportunity, but then people has to adapt it for the 21 weeks. And that is why what we have done is we are bringing the experts from global universities, different experts who will be talking about how this technology will impact in the internship world, how it will help the people to get more and more internship jobs, projects for them, how we can have a better research projects for the organization, for the institutions, educational institutions, so that they can have better revenue, better research projects coming in for their PhD students. How the corporate will get benefited from this research. How you can now bring the talent from all across the globe, whichever university you are in, wherever, whichever part of the world you are in. How it will impact your engagement of the student. How will you know the better skill sets of an individual? How do you train them better? Where do you fit them better? You will have a lot of virtual jobs coming in. You will be monitored much better basis on your performance. Now those days are gone when your organizations are looking at as a personal relationship value. Now your performance will speak, your numbers will speak. How that will change, that has to be adopted by the educational institutions, will be the another topic, and many more about virtual labs, your holistic development, your gamification modules, how all that can be utilized in an education industry, because education is the base for every individual. We are here because of our education. Now we have to move it from education to holistic skills development. And from that holistic skills development, you have to link it up to a global network, global connect. Use all your stakeholders, connect all your alumni, connect all your faculties, develop the capability of the faculties, develop the student skills onto that, how they can become a future ready, and how the best integration of man with machines can happen, so that there can be a perfect robo human world, I call it. That's what it is going to be done in the next 10 weeks. And in these 10 weeks, all the international speakers and experts and faculty members from international universities would be coming in, along with the industry experts who would be talking about technology transformation and other. And at the end of 10 weeks, whoever will complete this entire course will get a diploma in digital transformation. Because this will not be limited to an education industry, it will also help them to apply these blended models in any industry, be it events, film, religious, spiritual, event, your manufacturing industry, your travel industry, logistics industry, shipping industry, any industry you can apply that learning. And that's where it's going to be a diploma course. We are doing this 10 weeks course, and after that we would want to work with these universities for the next 11 weeks to support them to adapt and deploy that into the university, so that they can actually come out of the situation and adapt themselves even in the post-COVID scenario. So that's about the 21 weeks program. And we are doing this convocation, which is going to be the world's first blended convocation day on our Freedom Day, India's Freedom Day, 15th August 2020. And just want to add, Bringle Blended platform, it's a complete Make in India platform. While we have established in UK, and we are working with UK High Commission as well to support on UK universities as well. We have other channel partnerships in Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, Middle East, Europe, Germany. These places wherein we are reaching out to these universities and supporting them, because now everybody is looking for it. Our focus is going to be in Indian universities right now, and we are going to support them in the best possible manner with Vision Digital India. That's what we are trying to do in this 21 weeks.
Great, Anshau. I think there's a power-packed program that all entrepreneurs can be able to leverage that. So we are sharing this link as well on the social media, so we could early bird definitely have their advantage of early adoption. So request all the viewers to make the most of it. It's a game-changing certificate program. Thanks both Anshav and Dr. Hari for sharing your views. Any parting comments before we could wrap this up today? We just extended beyond our time. Couple of minutes each, we could take it and wrap it up.
Yeah. So I think request all the viewers and friends to join this initiative. I think this is just a beginning of what we can give back to the society, which is transforming a large number of people, especially youth. So the country economy is mainly with the student population. So we have to concentrate more on this because, as rightly told by Anshav, just 2 months lockdown, so many unicorns are unable to sustain. Companies like the great companies like Uber, Ola, Book My Show, all Oyo, these all companies, that is what the report today, the SoftBank report, Anshu was talking. If 2 months they are unable to sustain these great companies, then just imagine about the future, what is going to happen. And that to educators, because today I'm shocking to see some news reports and sharings of our educational community friends that some of the teachers, the professors are working as a laborers because the last 2 months their all money is dried up and they're unable to survive. So they started working in a fields and in other places. So it should not be a situation because the teaching community is one of the very valuable community in the world. So when you look at the Western world, it is a highly respected post. So this technology transformation, what we are talking, the digital transformation on 21 weeks, the webinar series is to make all our educators strong, to motivate them to face this kind of challenges, to equip them to be a leaders in their particular field. So I think this is going to be a great initiative and request all the people to utilize this opportunity, join, experience, interact, and share their experiences.
Thanks, Dr. Hari. Anshu.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Hari. It was, okay, so I'll just add it out here from the perspective of Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think India has got now, Nirmala ji has announced about 100 online universities. So all of them will require a infrastructure of a blended learning. What online universities has to change as a concept is to a blended learning universities. And if we can make it as a blended universities, the impact would be much better. These 100 universities can actually go and help another 900 universities, which have probably not even understood the concept of online university. And that is where the things have to be changed. So if we can help out and reach out to all the vice chancellors, deans, faculty members of all the universities, colleges, schools, trustees, whoever is there in the education industry, whoever is there into the education system, if they can come and participate into this, they will be able to learn lot many things, how they can change their entire education system, how they can adapt themselves in 21 weeks in the coming time, in the present time, and they can actually make it out as a blessing in disguise or a character building 21 weeks. So it's going to be very, very important for all of the people from the education system. It is definitely a virtual event. It's a global event which we are doing in. So everybody is struggling. Every university is struggling. So anybody from any part of the globe can join this event. We will be doing it at 6 p.m. tomorrow. There is a grand launch which is coming in. There are many more eminent speakers, panelists who are coming in tomorrow. Till tomorrow launch, which is 20th May 2020, which is apparently the second anniversary of our platform, Bringle Blended platform, as well as we are going to launch few other aspects. So our Bringle platform whatever the benefits. So it is going to be completely free for all those people who are joining this course till tomorrow. There will be no cost to them. The regular cost will also not be, it will be also very affordable, but till tomorrow it's absolutely free. So please go and join bringalacademy.com/course/virtual reality. Do not miss that. See the link in your Facebook comments in the live section, or go to our Facebook page, Bringle Academy. You can also go to our various pages on LinkedIn as Happy Bringling, Bringle, and things like that. Search it out and you will get those discounts available on that. So that's all, Sridhar, I wanted to share with the people.
Well, thanks, Anshav. Thanks,
Thank you.
Dr. Hari, and thanks all the viewers. Happy Bringling. See you next time. Thank you.
Keep bringing, keep growing.
So waiting for 2020.
Yes.
2020. Yes.